reviews. Really, this stuff is really awesome. Throw this in the garbage. Oh, super versatile and one of my favorite trucks of all time.
Just in case you're wondering, I am driving pretty badly on purpose.
Yeah, it just bends in half. It's garbage. Come on, wouldn't you trust this face?
What we have here tonight is the Vaterra Ascender. This is Vaterra's answer for a competitive rig, say maybe a Class 1 or a Class 2 scaler, in competition with Axial's SCX-10 brand of scaler rigs. A couple of differences that you can notice right off the bat between a SCX-10 and the Ascender is, number one, the steering. You get 45 degrees of steering straight out of the box. The kit comes with all aluminum links. Get a standard panhard, which is just amazing. The axial rigs, you have to do aftermarket parts for the panhard. To get 45 degrees of steering, you've got to upgrade to CVDs and tweak, play with it, and modify a little bit. The other cool thing about this rig, which you can kind of see, is how the axles are assembled. The drive shaft actually fits inside of the diff housing. It uses the bearing to hold the pin in place for the drive unit here, with your traditional on the top side link right into the transmission. Now, another really cool thing is a lot of people want to go for, say, a 2-speed transmission in the rig. So you have a lot of there's like, I think it was a Wanna Summit cradle mount, so you could put a Summit transmission in SCX-10. Well, it just so happens to be that the transmission in the Ascender is the exact same transmission that you would find in a twin hammers. Now, with that said, you might look at it and say that doesn't look quite the same, but all they did was modify this transmission by adding a new motor mounting plate. The plastic housing is identical to the twin hammers, which means for about $80 in gears and linkages, you can upgrade this transmission to be a 2-speed transmission, just like in the twin hammers does. If you check out the RC Crawler website, you'll see a link on there that will give you the ability to find your parts list to show you exactly how to turn this into a 2-speed transmission. It's pretty slick. Now, another really cool thing about this rig is the C-channel, the steel C-channel frame is fully adjustable. You can adjust it between 3 different wheelbases. You can see these extra holes right here, and there's some dots that let you know what size wheelbases they are if you look in conjunction with the manual. The other cool thing is you can see how the links use these spacers. This makes it so you can adjust between those 3 wheelbases with all the parts within the kit. So it's not like you get a kit fixed for one wheelbase. You get a kit that can go between all 3 wheelbases. So if you don't want to use the Blazer body, you want to do something shorter, something smaller, swap it up for a different type of body. I mean, this thing is completely set up to be adjustable and customized to whatever your needs happen to be. Up here in the front, you're going to find this to be very interesting. You have your servo mount, which mounts right here to take full advantage of the space for your panhard. There are parts you can turn and mount your servo sideways if you prefer, but what this does is it leaves you optional room to mount one of those standalone servo winches. I'm sure you've seen them before. This is servo, it's got the spool on it. And then in the front, if you unscrew these 2 screws, you've already got your fair lead available for you. So mount your servo winch, run your wire up and through the fair lead, and you've got your winch ready to go, ready to pull this puppy up much terrain that you can throw at it. So just another really cool feature. I mean, Vaterra really listened to what the users wanted and thought this rig out thoroughly when they designed it. So I give them a good thumbs up. Way to listen to what the crowds are doing on the forums and modifications they're making, so that when you come to a stock rig, especially a kit, you can put it together and make it your own with very little aftermarket extra costs for aftermarket parts. Now, the only thing on this that I did not leave as stock are the rims. They come with these plastic chromed out rims that you obviously have to glue. Me personally, I hate glue. So I've had these aluminum wheels from Motorworks Racing sitting around for a while that I haven't used in probably about 2 or 3 years. So I just happened to dig them out. I thought they looked good. They would be a good fit for this rig. So that's what I used. Other than that, this truck is completely bone stock. For electronics, I prefer the Holmes Hobby equipment. I used a Holmes Hobby 45 turn Crawlmaster Sport coupled with their BRXL waterproof version. In my opinion, the Holmes Hobby motors and electronics, by far the best thing you can go for straight off the shelf, especially if you're looking to volt up in your driving. One thing that I do prefer to do, especially on my scale rigs and my comp crawlers, I prefer to run a 4-cell battery. Some people say that's a lot of power, but everybody has their preference. 4 cells is the way I go. That's just how it is. So, TorqueMaster ESC, up to 6 cell. Volt this puppy up, tear it out, and have lots of fun. It's awesome. Now, this last weekend, I was able to take the Ascender out to Palmer Park here in Colorado Springs and kind of put it through the paces. We did an adventure series trail. It was 100 gates. Took about 45 minutes to an hour to run through the whole thing, just toying around. But I was really surprised. The Ascender, box stock, it runs really well. It didn't have any problems with the pinion gears and the differentials breaking. I did have initially a little bit of a problem with the front drive shaft. It was binding quite a bit. You would see at higher speeds, which I wish I would have filmed it so you could see what I was talking about, but as it was rotate, you would see the axle just kind of jumping and jittering and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. After running it for 2 or 3 hours the other day, it seems to have worked any issues out. I mean, I don't know if maybe there's just an extra piece of metal in the joint that was causing it to bind, but whatever it is, it's gone. It runs smooth as butter, and it's awesome. Now, another cool thing that I'd like to note is how the battery is mounted. Yes, you can't stick a full-length NiCad stick pack in here because it only uses such a small spot right here to mount your battery, but if you can see, the battery mount is fixed to the top of the axle. So what that does is, as the axle shifts, when the shocks are compressing, it helps to keep your battery at the lowest possible center of gravity. overall, I believe it really helps enhance the performance of the rig. I use really small, lightweight batteries, so I mean it probably won't help that much. But if I were to stick, say, half a saddle pack in here, like you might use in one of your racing trucks, it could help out quite a bit. Overall, though, it's a really cool design, and I really like the way it handles it with the battery strapped in like that. Apart from that, you can see in the back side here, we have our receiver box. Now, this receiver box is not 100% waterproof. There is a channel underneath here where the wires are running. Water could come straight up through there if you were to submerge your rig. Now, it does help protect with, water splash. So you could say it's more water resistant than waterproof. But you could easily modify this box to make it waterproof. I mean, I could see, throwing fix a gasket or, I don't know, a bead of something around the edge of there to make it waterproof would be awesome. And it'd work out for you pretty good. The other thing is the tires. These are Vaterra's Super Swampers, and I'll tell you what, I was a little skeptical at first because the rubber feels a little bit thicker than the Super Swampers you can get off of RC 4-wheel drive, but they hooked up pretty good on the rocks. They spun a little bit after they got wet and muddy, but overall they seem to work out real well. So overall, this rig, especially for, say, a bone stock class 2 that you're not going to have to modify very much at all, if you want to get into competitions, go for it. It's pretty good. It's solid. Now, another cool thing I would like to note is the body. Yes, the Blazer body looks like it's enormous, but it's pretty cool though. The front grille, it's not just a sticker. You actually have plastic lens covers. You've got your molded grille, and then on the inside you can see you've got the spot to hold on LED lights. So you can put 6 LED lights in the front of this body alone. It's pretty cool. It's not a feature that I've really seen on any of the other rigs, though the Dingos have Lexan buckets that you can put, you can paint them silver, drill them out for your LED lights, but nothing quite as cool and molded as this is. So again, another really cool aspect of thoughtful design by Vaterra. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure that if you do decide to pick up a Vaterra Ascender, or at least get your hands on one to drive around one of your buddies if they happen to have one, I promise you will not be disappointed. There are a few bugs out there in some of the kits, but again, Horizon Hobby has spot on customer service. For example, my rig was missing the slipper clutch slipper pads whenever I pulled it out of the box. I made a quick 10-minute phone call. They had the parts shipped out up to me in a couple of days, and I was up and running with no issues. So what better way to have an awesome rig and good customer support? And I'm really excited to see what, say, the open source community and all the modders and hackers out there are going to do to this rig to make it even better than it already is straight out of the box.